for the final time in 2020. How exciting. Y'all ready for 2020 to be over?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. I certainly am. Good morning, Kathy Ray. All right. Today, our plan is to do a little bit of role play. Let me just make a couple of kind of housekeeping announcements. I just posted on the announcements page the YouTube recording from yesterday's session. Yesterday, we spent 2 hours going through kind of a recap of 2020 and a look towards 2021 with what my vision was, and we looked at some of our metrics from this past year. I shared with you some of the ways that we're going to track and monitor our business in 2021. We talked about what we called roadmaps, roadmaps for both newer agents and roadmaps for that you should be aware of, things that you should be paying attention to and instilling into your business as it grows. Kind of things you should be doing. I don't want to say don't do this until you've capped, but like there's other things that are more priority, right? So we want you to focus on the right stuff, because if you don't know what the right stuff is, or you don't focus on the right stuff, then you'll tend to focus on the stuff that is less important. And quite frankly, that's going to get in the way of you building what we all know you need to build. So I have followed you guys' request, and I'm almost done with the PC roadmaps folder in Google Drive. There's 1 or 2 documents that I just need to scan. I just got the message that says my kids are COVID free, so I'm excited about that, but I probably will not pop into the office today, and I don't have a scanner at home. So 1 or 2 of those documents, it might be a few days before they're in the Google Drive, but hang tight, they're coming, and it's nice and organized. The Google Drive is as organized as it's ever been. It's about 80% organized. So hang tight. That's not my it's not my specialty, but I'm adjusting. Okay. All right. And for those that were not on the call, I just want to take a quick moment. I know we're always hustling and bustling, especially me, and I just want to take a moment to thank you for your participation, for your efforts. This is not an easy business, guys. It's not an easy business, and there's a lot of stressful moments. There's a lot of sad moments, right? But there's also a lot of awesome moments. I mean, we get a chance to be involved in a lot of awesome experiences for our clients. And 2021 is a new start. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you to do some reflection today and continue to think big. I wore a special shirt today. See, think like a CEO. Okay. Think Like a CEO is Gary Keller and Jay Papasan's podcast. If you have not checked that out, I highly, highly recommend that you check that out. It's available on all your podcast players and all that, whatever they normally say. I think they've had like 3 or 4 seasons already. It's phenomenal, guys. If there's one message that I want you to take into the new year, and John kind of implied this yesterday in the chat, is this is our baby, right? We can do it however we want to do it, right? The lane that you have to stay in, so to speak, is fairly wide, right? You just have to stay out of jail and, make sure your signs look right according to the state. But otherwise, it's pretty much free reign, right? So I'm going to encourage you, for a long time, we've probably had these ideas in the back of our mind on what we love and what makes us tick and what kind of impact we want to make on the world. And this is your business. You can do whatever you want with it. So let's get creative. Let's think big. Let's think like a CEO, and let's have some fun in 2021, right? I think Darlene was talking about it earlier. Like, guys, let's have some fun, right? Like I said, it's a little stress. This is a bit of a stressful business, right? People want to hang out with people that are having fun, right? They want to do business with people that are having fun, right? So don't be such a stiff, okay? I have to say that to myself every once in a while too, all right? If I'm being too much of a stiff, just say, Bill, have some fun. Quit being a stiff, okay? All right. There was a bit of a time change that I didn't catch yesterday. So the 36-12-3 class that is normally from 1:30 to 3:30 is actually from 10 to 12:30 today. 10 to 12:30 today. The only thing that impacts, well, that impacts a lot, I suppose, but I think, Matthew, we have a session during that time. If you would like to reschedule that, we can certainly do that, or move it a little later. And then the launch mastermind, we had isolated for that time. My preference, honestly, is that you go to the 36-12-3 class. And then I'll throw in an extra launch mastermind or a little bit longer of a launch mastermind next week, if that's cool. Of course, if you have something you have a burning desire to talk about or ask about, myself and our agent mentors and our leadership and all that stuff is available to help you. Cool? Okay, so no launch mastermind today. Stay tuned. We'll give you the next week's calendar. I don't exactly know how I'm going to do that because Lutha's out until the beginning of the week, but I'll give you the dates, but it's probably not going to look very pretty, okay? So hang tight. All right, what do you guys want to role play today? Is that the same as appointment setting? Appointment setting. Thanks for asking that, Matthew. Appointment setting is an unofficial appointment for PC, and it is your opportunity to earmark time to generate leads, okay? From my group, I want to clear the schedule and give you no distractions. I cannot speak for everyone in the office. It's very rare that we plan things during lead generation time. I didn't plan a single thing. There was not a single event during lead generation time when I was team leader, okay? Every once in a while, for a variety of reasons, we have to put something there, but that is time dedicated for you to focus on building your business, talking to people. Cool? That's not like we don't tune into the room or something. By the way, this is something we've tried off and on this year, and I would really like to do it more often, is after our session to keep the room open, and those that are interested in kind of a little bit of a camaraderie around lead generation. Maybe if you would have normally lead generated in a, in a public place or in the office where people are around or whatever, this might be like the next best thing where you can turn your video off if you want, but it's something that, or definitely turn your sound off, but it gives you a chance to have some camaraderie when you're on the telephone or when you're on social media, finding business. So, if that's something you want to learn more about or you have some suggestions for, I'm definitely open to that. Okay. All right. There was somebody that had mentioned backup offers and contracts. Do we want to have any dialogue around that this morning?
Yeah, I had a question on the backup.
Okay, go ahead.
I did a backup offer and I wasn't sure if the whole offer needed to be signed or just the backup sheet.
Oh, no, the whole thing plus the backup sheet.
Okay, that's what I told him. I just wanted to make sure.
Call me anytime. When you have a question like that, any of y'all, when y'all have a question like that, you don't have to wait to get on this. Call me or text me.
Okay,
perfect. Thank you for that, Kathy. Okay. One thing I just want to make one comment about backup offers that I tend to hear a lot is, well, let's just take a moment to set the stage. Buyer submits an offer, seller agrees to it. That's the primary offer. Oftentimes, especially in our environment right now, there are multiple buyers or multiple interested parties. Okay. So in that case, the seller could go back, or I should say the listing agent could go back to those suitors and say, we are interested in entertaining a backup offer. If you would like your offer to be considered as a backup offer, let me know. Okay. Then they might have, let's say, 7 of the 15 offers that were not chosen say, yes, I'd like to be a backup. I know this is a little complicated, but the backup offer needs to be negotiated, or the possible backup offers need to be negotiated just like the primary offer would be. So it wouldn't be unheard of. I've done this before. I've also been on the other side of it before, where I had to do a highest and best on the backup offer, right? So I might go back to all the people that are still interested in saying, hey, just make edits to your contract if you must, like things like the time limit and closing date and these kind of things that might be adjusted if you're in backup position, right? And resubmit. And then I'll pick the favorite one of a backup. By no means are you required as a seller to agree to a backup offer. And by no means should you accept a backup offer that is not acceptable, right? Just for the sake of having a backup offer. So let's say the list price is 300, the primary offer is 305, and the best of the backup offers is 280. You don't need to accept like a low offer just because it happens to be there. Okay, so only accept offers that your seller would like to move forward with. Make sense? Now, couple additional notes on this is you do not need to share with the primary buyer that you have a backup offer. You're not obligated to do so. You may find that it increases your negotiation strength, right? And you may find that it doesn't, right? So you can use that if if need be. If you are in a primary position and you are one of like 50 offers or something, you should probably be coaching your buyer that you probably don't bother asking for like wood rot to be replaced and backward electrical outlets to be dealt with. I'm not saying the seller won't agree to it. I'm just saying they probably don't have to, especially if you put in, like we talked a little bit about escalation clauses. I'll come back to that in one moment. If you put an escalation clause in, so let's say I'll pay $1,000 more than the highest buyer up to 310, and the highest buyer was, let's say 302. So now you're under contract for 303, and then you start asking for backward electrical outlets, and I know you're willing to pay 310, you can forget about that. Make sense? So there's certain pros and cons to everything all actions that you take from a seller perspective and from a buyer perspective. Make sense? Okay. Yes, but Alicia, backup offers need to include the full offer and the amendment, or not amendment, but what do you call it? Addendum.
Addendums.
Saying that all parties acknowledge that this is a backup offer. In my career, I've been involved, if you add up all the buyers and sellers that I've been involved in official backup offers with, I think it's around 9 or 10 of them, and all but one ultimately sold to the backup offer, which is way unique. That's not typical, but I'm telling you, backup offers sometimes are good, right?
Okay.
Now,
yeah, that's what I said. I just wasn't sure. I wanted to double check, but
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Any questions, by the way, guys? I'm happy to handle your questions, but sometimes I can't get to them like right away. So just put them in the chat, put them in the page, call Kathy or call Susan, or even though Pam is not an official mentor, she'd probably kill me for saying this, but I know she's helped a lot of people on the call and she enjoys doing it.
She would kill you.
That's a contract whiz. What were you saying, Kathy?
I said she would kill you. I would like to also say, don't text me in the WhatsApp. Just text my phone number, and I'll put it up there for y'all that don't. I'll just put it in the chat for y'all that don't know it. But texting me, I can almost always answer immediately, unless I'm in my car.
okay.
Perfect. Just one more point. Guys, this business is so much about preparation. Okay, at some point, if you have an active buyer or seller, there's going to be a time that you have to write a contract. So if you don't know how to write a contract, or don't know what forms to fill out, or don't know how to fill out the forms, or have never read it, or don't even know what DocuSign is, I would tell you that you're not prepared. So today, when things are not particularly stressful and it's not 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, go ahead and do some self-study, okay? So that at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, when the buyer says, write it up, and you freak because you haven't done anything, and Kathy doesn't respond within 2 minutes because it's Saturday night, it's not a great use of your time. Is that fair to say? Okay, beautiful. You guys want to talk about escalation clause? Well, does that kind of cover?
And just to add to that, that all the videos for, on that are available on the YouTube channel, so you can go and look through how to, you can, if you're not able to do like a live session, or there's not one coming up, all of those things have been recorded. So, whether it's an exclusive seller agreement, or listing agreement, all of those, the buyers and all of the forms are in there. So just watch the videos.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
It's about like 12 hours plus.
Okay, Greta, great question. Great question. Here's the deal with the backup offer is you go binding with the backup offer. Let's say Greta, you're my buyer and I'm the buyer's agent. Okay. And we are in backup position. If the backup offer basically states, or the addendum basically states that when you receive written notice that the primary offer has gone away or is no longer in place, then you automatically become the backup offer. Okay, and your time periods begin at that moment. So now you're, hustling to get the inspections done and these kind of things. Okay, it's very possible that as a backup buyer's agent, you should just check in every week or so. Hey, anything going on over there? Any struggles? Do you expect this thing to close? Are you worried? Do you think we have a chance? Anything I can do to help you? You're just checking in, right? Now, does that mean that you have to stop looking for other properties? The answer to that is no. So Kathy, I'm going to give you my opinion, which doesn't have anything to do with license law, and you tell me if I'm out of line, okay? Should you keep looking for a property? I would say yes, okay? If the buyer finds something they want to pursue, then yes, I think you should pursue it. I don't know how Melba would feel about me saying this, but it's kind of like, I'm gonna be super informal with you guys. It's kind of like dating two people at once. Eventually, you're gonna get caught. Okay. However, if you submit an offer and it doesn't go anywhere, then I wouldn't want to have killed the backup offer. So, like, if you submit an offer on a new place and it gets accepted, just immediately get out of the backup offer. Okay. But my personal opinion is I wouldn't do that until you're binding on the new contract. Is that crazy talk, Kathy?
That's exactly what I would do.
Okay, perfect. But be respectful of everyone's time, right? If your buyer's not capable or doesn't have plans to buy both homes, don't be in two contracts. Okay, that's not ethical. Make sense?
It does. I was just worried about like submitting being in a backup offer, submitting another offer, and then it get accepted, and then all of a sudden I get notification that there's that minuscule chance of getting caught.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like you check your email and you say, oh, the new offer was accepted.
Yeah.
And you immediately do the right thing and release yourself from the backup offer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. I mean, we're talking about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Right. And it's just
and vice versa also, right? If the backup offer is accepted, you cancel the other offer that you have.
That's exactly right. Although what you're suggesting would be like in the course of the new offer negotiation, let's say that was taking a day or two, you got notice of the backup offer getting accepted, then
Right.
Yes, you should decide which one you want to move and kill the other one.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a clear priority for backup offers that are accepted? In other words, will we know we're first in line? I'm going to try to answer that. I'm not positive I understand where you're coming from, but basically,
Like if there are a bunch of different offers, if we know that it's a multiple offer situation and then they secure backup offers, there are 15, like you said, is it?
Yeah.
Like,
So like,
how
is there a primary backup offer and a secondary backup
Yeah,
offer?
like how is that decided?
I suppose you
Tertiary.
could do multiple backup offers with some type of, ranking, but I've never done that. I would it's just a lot of work for something that's not probably going to happen. It's like, you got a primary, you got a backup, let's go find some more clients, right? But to determine who the best backup offer is or who the best of the backup offer prospects are, that could be a highest and best. It could be a, you know, it goes back to what the seller is concerned about. Is it money? Is it time? Is it something different? Is it other requests, other concessions that are being asked to be made? These kind of things. So the seller and the seller's agent are going to pick the best of the best, and then offer the backup position to that person. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions with respect to backups? All right. Let me touch on escalation clauses for a second. Okay. Escalation clauses. Trying to think. I posted the escalation clause language in the group a while back. I can try to post it again. Make a note of that. Escalation clause in WhatsApp. Okay, so that is basically a way. It's like almost like the Price is Right. You know how the Price is Right? They're like 201 or whatever, right? It's kind of that idea where you're basically saying like, my buyer will pay X number of dollars above the best offer you get. Sometimes you would say they will pay $2,000 above the best net offer you get up to X number of dollars. I don't really think that's all that strategic because, well, up to the part about up to. The up to part says, well, I'll go up to 315. Well, if I know you're willing to pay 315, then I'm going to try to figure out a way where I don't have to accept 305 from you. So I might just say, counter and say, you want it? It's going to cost you 315, right? You could do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you could just say, I'll go up $2,000 higher, and you are told you're the winner and it's going to cost you 330, and you're like, I'm not signing that. Thanks. Right? Or you accept it and then leave in the due diligence period, right? So there's ways that you could get around the high number if you were uncomfortable with it or potentially weren't qualified for it. That is part of the escalation clause. It makes sense? I also like, yes, and by the way, in order to determine or order to prove that that there was another offer with that amount that's now forcing you to up your price, you would ask for page 1 of the contract, of the other contract. That basically says, hey, here's our other offer at 300. That makes you 302. Go ahead and sign the paperwork for 302 and you're the one. Make sense? You got to make it big enough of it, like for $100, it's not worth even the paperwork, right? So make it a little bit more substantial. I would say 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 at the least. That would put you above the next best offer. Okay.
Bill, I remember somebody saying that escalation clauses right now are not really as effective as maybe they have been in the past, but am I hearing that wrong? Because I'm looking at Kathy's face and she's saying no, but that's not true.
Well, certainly it can't hurt.
Yeah.
If there's like 50 offers, then like, and you got 25 escalation clauses, it gets pretty damn hairy. But what I was going to say is it really, escalation clauses are definitely useful.
Yeah, I would think.
Right.
Yeah.
If your buyer's willing to move up and doesn't want to lose out over $1,000 or something, that's a way to combat that struggle. However, in this environment, it might not be enough, quite frankly, right?
Right.
It might be enough to, or some of the additional things that you can do to win for your buyer would be for the lender to call the seller's agent or the listing agent and say, hey, I want to let you know, offer 34. That's Bob Stevens. I'm working with him and we got local appraisals. I've already qualified him. I've already looked at his tax returns. He's incredibly cooperative. Bill's a great agent. This one's going to be a slam dunk. That's offer 34, Bob Stevens, the one with the escalation clause, right? And it's that type of additional effort that could separate you. Now, another thing I would recommend doing is making the phone call. I know a lot of these agents don't want, 50 agents calling them and telling them how great of an agent they are. I don't really care. My job is to be the best buyer's agent I can be. So I'm going to call that seller's agent up and say, hey, let me tell you something. This is not just some ordinary buyer, okay? This is a very, very cooperative buyer, a very, very great borrower, okay? I'm going to do my job and probably half of your job. Do not worry, This one's getting to the closing table, right? You need anything, I'm here. If I'm going to lose this because of a home warranty, let me know. I'll take that home warranty out and buy it myself. I'm not messing around. I want to win. Cool. So what's it going to take?
How do you, so you said that maybe not having a cap on the amount, like, so escalation clause, $1,000 above best offer up to, you are hesitant to add that cap. So how do you avoid going over your, your top price then in that scenario?
In some respects, you're initially not avoiding it, but in response to being told that you're a winner, you don't necessarily have to sign it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Or even if you did sign it, then you could just leave in the due diligence period. Right. So that's kind of your protection.
So Bill,
You're towing the line there, just so you know. You're towing the line, but I think you're still within the line.
but if you have that out, then you really don't need to play your hand. Then why even have a cap? Then just say I want 2,000 more. I'll do 2,000 better, and then you have your own internal max in mind. And if it over surpasses that, then you back out. So
that's exactly right. I'll tell you, I used to do it the other way for years. For years, I did it the other way. And then I was on a panel with Mike Schulte, him and his wife are some top agents in our office, and he said what I said, which is I would just counter you at your cap, and you're not getting the house unless you pay your cap. And I was like, man, that's smart. I'm going to do it the other way now.
I didn't realize that you could back out. So I didn't realize that you had that
always
opportunity.
back out during the due diligence period. You can
What would
back out
happen-
because the sun comes up tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
What
Okay.
would happen if you had two competing offers that are both escalation clauses that say we'll both go up $2,000 with no cap? What happens in that situation?
Your conversation with that listing agent beforehand is what's going to determine it. Like I always say, hey, give them a call and say, hey, when do they want to move out? What's their timeline? We want to work with them. But I always ask what board of realtors do you belong to? And because I want to get that in there, I want to put all of their information in it. And that will help you. The conversation that you've had before is, and especially once you've been in a while, you'll probably co-op occasionally with the same one. And, you make it good the first time, it's going to be, that agent's going to say, oh, I've worked with him before. But he was great.
You're answering a little bit of a different question, which is a very important question too, which is what's another way that we allow ourselves and our buyer to stand out, right?
Yeah.
Which is things like, hey, rather than sending over the offer and expecting this listing agent to put in what their broker's address is and what board of realtors they're in, which is just a pain and an extra step, you can offer to do that for them, or say something to the degree of, I'm a great agent. All this is going to work out great. We got a great team in place, yada yada. What Michael's saying, I think, is what does a seller do if they're in receipt of multiple offers with escalation clauses?
Yeah.
And that goes back to the seller or the listing agent. Typically, is kind of the
who he looks to,
the one that encourages the seller to say, hey, I know we're looking at offer number 1 and offer 16. I had a better conversation with agent on number 1.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, so the seller can ultimately pick whichever one they want. But if you want to have a better shot at being picked, then you go be a hero to the other side. The first time you raise your voice or you're an asshole to somebody, you can forget winning that contract. And you can probably forget winning any contract that agent is a part of in the future. So behave yourself. Okay. Did you want to add anything to that, Kathy? Okay.
No.
All right, guys. So, give me some inspiration. What are you really excited about 2021 for? Let's end this on a good note.
Well, for me personally, it's been a year of transformation. We did have that podcast I was telling you about, Bill. We had that podcast, recorded that a few days ago. I'll send the link to
Yeah, please.
everyone. Just for me, just about transforming my life, being more in charge, being on, a better journey and path. And I'm just super excited. 2020, I'm in a great place. I'm with great people and just really excited for next year.
Beautiful. Anyone else want to share?
Hey, Bill, I'll share.
All right.
Are we talking about what we're grateful for?
If that's what you want to talk about, I'd be
I'm
more
sorry, I
than happy
stepped
to
away,
listen.
but I have a closing today to close out the year, so I'm excited.
Yay!
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Nothing like a closing on New Year's Eve to bring in the year, right? Let's button the year up with a bow. I don't think
That champagne's gonna taste
with a
sweet
bow. What am I
tonight.
talking about?
Absolutely.
All right. I just again want to take a moment to thank you. It's a lot of hard work. I appreciate you being here most mornings with me. I appreciate your partnership. I love watching you guys learn and grow and be successful. And I truly enjoy being your partners in this journey. So thank you for all you do. Please tune in from 10 to 12:30 today with Aubrey. He's going to give you some inspiration to wrap up the year as well. Many of us have been talking about our goals for the end of the year. I'm going to encourage you to take stock of where you sit today, right? Who's in the database? Who's in the pipeline? What's the bank account look like? Where what do I weigh? What do I think? Whatever you need to determine to really make sure that 2021 can be a year of impact for you, and keep up the great work. Okay.
What
Thank
time
you for everything. And
today?
go ahead, Greta.
Sorry, what time is that today?
That's from 10 to 12:30, and that is in the kwroswelltraining.com page.
Okay, so that's, okay, yeah.
10 to 12:30. Okay. Corey, were you about to say something?
I just wanted to add my what I'm looking forward to for next year and what I'm grateful for this year. This is a great group. Thank you for everyone's participation and interest in growth and learning and sharing. I'm happy to be part of it, and I look forward to my growth in 2021. And there's so much to learn, and I kind of shared what I'm looking forward to implementing next year. All the processes, the models, and the five F's, and the 4, 3, 2, 1, 36, 12, 3. Let me see if any other number.
411 and
Personal perspectives.
911.
Yes.
Right. But it's the power of one. No, that's what is it called? I have the book.
Thing.
The one thing.
one thing.
Yeah. So it's all showing up every day with the beginner's mind, and for me, and just learning and just being willing to give it everything you have. So let's do this. We can do it.
Let's do this.
Great.
Thank you. Guys, this is the 5 F's. This is the document that I'm not going to be able to get into the sheet today, but it is taking a look at faith, family, fun, fitness, and finances. Faith, family, fun, fitness, and finances. Notice how real estate isn't on here, right? How can we make our lives outside of real estate a 10 plus this year? Okay. So if you got some goals in those categories, put them out there. Tell the world. Let's make it happen. Okay. Have a wonderful afternoon. See you at 10.
Thanks. all.
Thanks.